Deep Shot Podcast, pre-NFL Draft Edition. It's been a while. Thank you for being back with us. If you're listening on podcast, if you're listening on Spotify, you're watching on YouTube, we're here. As always, I got Caleb Spear with me rocking, I believe that's a Making Bacon hat. Is that correct?
Yeah, shout out to Kevin Bacon right here.
Good old Diva Jake, not here tonight, but we've got Ryan Steed subbing in for him. Ryan, how we doing?
I'm doing good. I hope I can live up to Jake's standard and maybe give one solid take.
Yeah, there you
It's been
go.
only good for it. That just don't make me 6-7 jokes. That's so old.
Yeah, don't worry. That's not coming out of me.
All right. Well, thank you again for listening. It's been a couple months since the Super Bowl ended and the Pats lost. Now we've got to see who's going to win the Super Bowl next. Sorry, Caleb, had to bring that up. But
You know what's funny is on my computer screen right now, like I have my Zoom window always pops up with a split window, and it's still got Seahawks 29, Pats 13. I'm about to close this, by the way.
look, before we can get into the next football season, before we can get into season 5 of the Deep Shot Podcast, the NFL draft has to happen. All right. The biggest event in the offseason in terms of football. Obviously, the transfer portal is trying to catch up to it, but the NFL draft is a spectacle within itself. 3 days. Where's it hosted this year? Blanked on it. Someone tell me.
Pittsburgh.
You know, we've had the combine. We've had some things going on. We're going to talk about tonight. We each got a top 10 mock. We've got, some crazy trades that we think might happen, which positions we think might go the most in the first round, sleepers that you're not hearing about, who we think this year Shedeur Sanders might be. A lot, and if you don't get it, it just means whoever's fallen the farthest in the draft. And we'll end with some fun this or that game. Before we do all that, make sure to follow on the Instagram and TikTok at Deep Shot Sports. We're 4,600 followers. We're almost at 5,000. The goal was always 5,000 before the football season. We're almost there. So we've got to set a new goal. Let's say 7,000, but help us just get to 5,000 for now. Subscribe to the YouTube. Thank you if you've been watching CFB only there in the off season. All right. Let's talk about the NFL Draft 2026. Just got a quick question. Before we get into it, we're going to do our mocks here just to get things going, see how everybody's feeling about how this top 10 is going to go. How do we feel about this draft in general? Okay, let's compare it to a 2025, a 2024. We're 2024, we've got 6 quarterbacks taken up, or just any draft in general leading up. Personally, I don't know if it's me, felt like the hype has not been as strong. Maybe that's because the quarterback class is dead. Maybe because we know Fernando's won, and then there's a couple big defensive linemen or linebackers going 2-3. People are trying to hype up, like Dan Orlovsky's out here telling us that Ty Simpson's better Fernando just to give us some juice. It seems like that's just because we've got nothing to talk about. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think this definitely is one of the weakest quarterback classes that I can remember. Also, like just based off like news and like articles, this hasn't been like a very hyped up class. Now, I'm not saying the talent's not there, but when I was creating my mock, one thing I took away from it, especially in this top 10, Ohio State was loaded last
Mhm.
year. They were
Mhm.
absolutely loaded. I think I got 4 players in my top 10 that are Ohio State.
Yeah, so I have also the same way. It seems like Miami was loaded as what last year as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than the quarterback position, I mean, Caleb, what do you think? Like, this draft in general?
Yeah, there doesn't seem like there's a lot of blue chippers. I hear a lot of people talking about, like, Peter Schrager said that he's only got, like, 2 blue chip guys. One's Jeremiah Love, and I think the other one is Caleb Downs maybe or somebody. And then outside of that, like, you're kind of not necessarily like you're not really surefire in this draft, if you know what I mean. I feel like there are about 3 or 4 guys that I'd like, there's no way they play bad, but outside of that, a lot of flipping of the coin. There's a lot of teams out there also saying that there's not that many first round grades on players this year. I mean, I think I've heard there's like 18 or 19 guys on most people's boards that they actually have graded as a first round pick. Well, there's 32 picks. So somebody's going to get burned on a little bit of value. We'll see if we see a lot of trades in the back of this. I still think the players are going to get drafted, and you need the cheap salaries for good people. And there's still teams can be built straight from this and go to the Super Bowl very quickly. I mean, you can see all around the league, there's teams that drafted well last year that went deep in the postseason this year because of that.
Yeah, and what if, let's just throw this hypothetical out. You say 18 or 19 first round grades. What if there was an option to just be like, not we'll pass on this pick, pass, and maybe you get like maybe some extra money in the salary cap, or maybe you just go to I don't know. I don't even know. I'm just thinking off the top of my head.
But you
You
void
have
the
to,
draft.
Yeah, just pass on the draft pick. Don't want
But
it.
you'd get something compensatory back
Something,
for it and, like, extra
something.
cap room or something, like, basically, what you're saying is, "Hey, this draft pick is not worth not only the slot it is, but the money I'm gonna pay for it. I don't wanna do it."
Let's say it was cap space. How much money in cap space do you think would be worth to give away like the 18th pick in the draft?
The slot of the pick is about as
Yeah.
Yeah.
best as I could do.
Yeah. What is that?
That could be something, though, we're talking about because I mean, are there really, you know, the full 7 rounds? Obviously, half of those guys get cut, they don't make it to teams. Maybe the draft shouldn't be that long anyways.
That's a fair point.
But now we're spitballing here, so
Yeah.
we gotta
Yeah.
keep things great the way they are. You know, day 3 of the draft is awesome to watch. You know, you get people, like, in a pool, you get this dude make a wish, you know, this guy makes a pick. I mean, they're in people's houses all over the place.
Mel Kiper spazzing out. Yes, I
Yeah.
agree. It is. It is great to watch. Well, we're going to get into who we have in our top 10 mocks. So we know we're not doing a full 32. That would take way too much time. We don't have all of that. Plus, like we said, we don't even know who's going to be at 20, 25. All right. That
Mhm.
doesn't mean we don't know ball. That's just where we're at. So top 10 mock drafts. All right. So I think consensus, God, I said that wrong. Consensus number one. I'm going to just guess you guys both have Fernando Mendoza for the Raiders.
Yeah, that's no shock.
All
Dude.
right, all right. No one. Now, just here's the thing: they did sign Kirk Cousins. What would it be the weirdest thing if the Raiders on draft night were just like, we're out on Mendoza?
Unless they're going to get Ty Simpson in the second, I don't see how they get around doing that. I mean, that would be insane. It's a great setup for Mendoza though, because he gets a year to freaking develop in the NFL game, even though he's every bit of 24 or 25 years old. So he'll be a veteran quarterback as a rookie starter, coming off of learning from not only the GOAT Tom Brady, the other GOAT of getting paid, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, he'll know how to make a bag
Yeah,
later on in his
absolutely.
career.
All right, number two, the New York Jets. All right, I'll just go first. We'll go around here. It seems like when I was looking at mocks, when I'm trying to compare, it seems like there's two options here. All right, it is between my pick, David Bailey, defensive tackle at Texas Tech, home wrecker. If you didn't watch Texas Tech college or football this year, they absolutely wrecked havoc. Sure, Oregon gave them a tough time in that college football playoff game. I don't think the defense is the problem or why they lost
Mm-mm.
that game. David Bailey, before he was at Texas Tech, he was at Stanford, I believe is where he came from. So an absolute wreck. And I'm telling you, everything I looked at was between him or one other guy. Do either of you guys have the other guy at number two for the Jets?
I think I do. I have Arvell Reese
Mhm.
out of Ohio State. But that's what I was tussling with too, because I think these are like your 2 or 3. Like whoever doesn't go 2 here is definitely going to be picked next. But yeah, I got the Jets picking up the linebacker. I mean, the Jets just need anything.
I thought David Bailey was the better player of the two. You're talking about disruption rate. I mean, that dude literally took over a playoff game almost on defense by himself this year, and we saw it front and center. So I had him going number two. I think that the Jets, like you said, they need help on defense for sure. And Aaron Glenn needs somebody to help him over there so he could possibly keep his job after this year.
Did. Yeah, I mean, hopefully he stays awake during the draft, huh?
But yeah,
That'd be
he
crazy if
was
they
falling
cut over
asleep
to
during the combine.
with this number two pick.
Oh, but yeah, you're right. Jets could need absolutely anything. It seems like they're obviously going to go defense. I mean, Aaron Glenn's a defensive guy. I'm blanking on who the Jets quarterback is right now. I mean,
Gino.
Gino. That's right. They've got Gino back. So maybe they don't have to draft one right now. Obviously, we'll see. Who knows? I mean, maybe Dan Orlovsky's onto something and Ty Simpson's going number two overall. But
Yeah.
number three for the Cardinals, that's where I have Arvell Reese, the linebacker, going. The Cardinals, who they just got. No, they didn't. I was about to say that they got Malik Willis. They did not. The Dolphins got Malik Willis. The
Mhm.
Cardinals got rid of Kyler Murray. They are still rocking with Jacoby Brissett as of right now. I believe Gardner Minshew is also over there. So
Mhm.
they may be on the quarterback market. I've seen things where they could be taking Ty Simpson maybe later in the first. But for right now, I think they need to take Arvell Reese. I think when we talk about this draft, what we've mentioned, the defensive players seem to be the strong suit of it, of what there is. And like Ryan said, there's tons of Ohio State players. This might be the best one on the board. And so I got the Cardinals taking Arvell Reese. So Caleb, do you also have that same pick?
I do not. I go a
Okay.
little bit different. I gotta come off the board with my pick here. I have Arizona sticking at 3 and taking Francis Malinois at the offensive tackle out of Miami. I think that they've got to shore up that offensive line. If they're going to rock with Jacoby Brissett for a year, they've got to keep him healthy. And even that's something they struggled with last year, with both him and Kyler getting hurt at certain different points in the seasons. I think that he's a great player. If you watched Miami's front last year, you knew nobody was coming from that right side to pressure the quarterback. Like, it just wasn't happening, and I think that that is a day one starter in NFL.
All right, Ryan, who you got at 3?
I got David Bailey too, but I got a trade. So I got the Cowboys actually trading up all the way to 3 with the
Mm.
Cardinals here to they need a dynamic pass rush, a guy to really fill in that Micah Parsons void that they definitely missed last year. And I think they would trade up here and get Bailey as their guy.
I like that. I like that because they'd be pairing him around with Quentin Williams. That'd be some nasty defensive line work. And that would be a Jerry Jones move. Let me get in here and make an absolute splash after kind of ruining the season last year a little bit because
Yeah,
of how bad
exactly.
our defense was. All right. First one that all three of us are different. All right. And Ryan's got a trade going on. All right. Number 4, the Tennessee Titans. All right. This is where I will have, well, I guess I was about to say first offensive player. Forgot Fernando Mendoza is part of this draft. That's how much you just don't even think about it. Number 4, I got Jeremiah Love going to the Tennessee Titans. Obviously, they drafted Cam Ward, won one last year. He hired Robert Salah in the offseason. A running back game, as somebody who had Tony Pollard on their fantasy team last year, it was okay, but they're going to need something a lot better to help Cam Ward out because Cam Ward's running for his life out there, and he doesn't really have a lot of weapons on the outside. I mean, Calvin Ridley's not really a great number 1 weapon. They've got a lot of things to figure out. But from what I've seen about prospects in this draft, Jeremiah Love is one of those blue chip guys that Caleb mentioned, or these homer like he is going to hit. Seems like a lot more hype around him than we had out of like a guy like Ashton Genty last year, who still went number 6 overall, but I feel like the Jeremiah Love hype train is like he's, could number 2, number 3 overall prospect in this draft overall. So I think the Titans really go to try to solidify the backfield here and take Jeremiah Love. Caleb, what do you got?
So my board's a little skewed because I've got some different folks, and this is where I've got Arvell Reese going. I think with Robert Saleh being a defensive minded guy, if he's on the board, he's getting taken right here, or somebody's trading up to come get him. He's that good of a player. I just thought the needs were a little bit different with Arizona, and I think there is some respect to Tennessee needing some offensive weapons. I truly get. I've seen most mocks, I think, have Jeremiah Love going at 4. I just think if they're going to get some help, man, it ain't going to come in the backfield. They need some outside perimeter help or a tight end or something like that. And there's nobody that's willing to necessarily fit the bill for this pick in that slot unless they look to trade back. So I don't think they're going to be doing that. So with that, Manon, I think it's going to be Arvell Reese if he's still available. I tinkered back and forth with another non-linebacker that will probably be in both of our top 10s because Robert Shaw likes good linebackers. But for now, we'll keep it with a little bit of a pass rusher up front, a guy that can actually do a little bit more than just rush the passer. Because I think it's what a lot of people know him as is like a perimeter, go get the quarterback kind of guy. But he can play off the ball too and be great.
All right, Ryan, who do you got?
I got Jeremiah Love too. I played with maybe like the Titans do draft a receiver here, like a Carnell Tate, to really like vamp up the passing game. But with Jeremiah Love probably being the best offensive product in the draft, I think this is just an easy safety net for where they don't have to put as much pressure on the offense for Cam Ward and just get an absolute bell cow at running back and then just take him at 4.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you're thinking there. At number 5, the New York Giants, who now have 2 top 10 picks because of the other day, they traded away Dexter Lawrence to the Cincinnati Bengals in order for this number 10 pick that we're going to talk about in a second. So now they have the 5th pick and the 10th pick because of that trade. So they already had the 5th pick just because of how bad usually they are at football. And so with that 5th pick, because they've got some leeway here now with another pick, 5 picks after this, I think if it was just the 5th pick at this point, maybe they'd be looking a different direction. But with the aggressiveness they can have now, I've got the Giants taking Carnell Tate at 5. I think we obviously have Jackson Dart. We obviously have Cam Scatterbo. Malik Neighbors got hurt last year. It's probably going to take him a little bit of time to get going again this upcoming season. Carnell Tate seems to be, if it's either him or Jordan Tyson that is talked about as the best wide receiver in the class. I think the way I've seen how Carnell Tate make contested catches, one-on-one catches, I mean, the hands kind of reminds me of Drake London just because his hands are so sticky, like it just seems like he makes every catch. I think with the Giants having another pick in the top 10, they can be a little aggressive because I think if they don't take Carnell Tate here, they run the risk of maybe losing out on both the top 2 receivers by the chance they get to number 10. So I think they take Carnell Tate here at number 5. Caleb, what do you think?
I respect that. I've got them taking receiver later on, and I toyed with Carnell Tate as well, but I think I'm gonna pick the, last defensive player that to me is surefire, and that's Caleb Downs. I think he goes this high. I mean, honestly, he's gonna be a day one start in NFL. He's probably an all-pro waiting to happen. There hasn't been a more pro-ready safety prospect to come out since maybe Kyle Hamilton, and even that guy was a little raw in some of his coverage stuff. Downs can do it all. I mean, he might have been pound for pound the best player in college football last year and the year before that as well. And I think he's going to be an incredible day one addition for the New York Giants if this is where they go.
All right, Ryan, what do you got?
So looking at it with Harbaugh, I think kind of what their offense is going to entail is going to be a heavy run game with Dart, and so I got them going offensive tackle here with Spencer Fano from the O tackle from Utah. From what I was looking at it, is that I think he would go this high because he can immediately play at guard, and then maybe later on in his career during his rookie contract, they move him to a more natural tackle position. But I think this is just going to be a kind of a boring pick, but they're going to just shore up the O line and protect they're going to have to protect Dart, and because that's been a problem. Their O line has been a sore spot on the roster for some time now. And with 2 top 10 picks now, I see them utilizing one of those picks, and they do it here.
All right. Okay, so everybody's getting a little different opinions here. We're through the first 5 picks. Again, Giants have 2 picks because of the trade the other day. Just to give y'all's thoughts on that trade real quick, with Dexter Lawrence going to Cincinnati, kind of it seems like Cincinnati, in my opinion, kind of just hitting a panic button saying, hey, we need more defensive players. We just lost Trey Hendrickson, while Joe Burrow's on the other side going, oh, they did it to me again. Just quick thoughts. What do you guys think about that trade?
Like trading the number 10 pick for Dexter Lawrence just seems like it's pretty outlandish, you know? Like the 10th pick seems like it's way more valuable at just taking a player on a rookie contract. Now, the argument could be like there's not a player better than Dexter Lawrence in the draft, but I mean, I just don't really understand that move by the Bengals. Maybe this is their like way to tell Joe, hey, listen, we're really shoring up the defense because the defense has been atrocious for the last 3 years and trying to get that defensive front and so they can be competitive. But I mean, I think their biggest worry is protecting Burrow. So I think they could have utilized that on this 10th pick.
Well, you guys sound like Debbie Downers about the Bengals. I think this is a fleece of a trade, personally. Dexter Lawrence, in my opinion, is probably the best interior pass rusher in the league as it stands. I mean, if you look at like the pressures that he's generated, I think the next closest player is Vita Vea in the last like 3 years, and it's not even close. Like I think Dexter Lawrence has generated almost 100 pressures from the interior since he's gotten in the league. Vita Vea is in the 30s. And then also too, like you just look at some of the stuff that he does when he's on the field versus off for the Giants. Like this past year, they were dead last in the league in yards per attempt given up to passer. When he was on the field, they were 8th in yards per attempt. I mean, you have to get the ball out fast. With him out, 31st in the league sack rate, 4.1%. With him in the game, they're 9th in the league with him in. I mean, this guy also didn't play at his top level last year, but I mean, Cincinnati is immediately getting the best interior rusher in the league. And you got to look at who else is in their division, right? Ravens just got rid of a bunch of interior offensive linemen. They didn't pay a couple of them. The Steelers, I mean, they haven't had a good front in years. Dexter Lawrence is going to go off in the AFC North because he's been playing the NFC East with 2 of the best offensive lines he's been going against the entire time he's been there. So I think this is a slam dunk. And it goes back to the same thing I was talking about earlier where values of the 10th pick versus what they're actually maybe get, I think you kind of take the risk out of it and you get a perennial all-pro player.
I will just say this, and I may sound stupid when I say it, but he was playing next to Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau the last couple years. Maybe that helps open him up in the middle a little bit. Maybe, I don't know, but I feel like his job's gonna get a lot harder in Cincinnati. I think maybe those 2 edge rushers being as lead as they were made it a little easier on him on the inside. That's all I'll say. Do I sound stupid?
No, I think you might be onto something there. I think just with Dexter Lawrence being as relentless as he is, I mean, he's going to get double teamed, so that would help the entire front if anybody's better. But yeah, I mean, since he still has to go out and probably draft an edge rusher in order to make this thing make sense with what they did with Trey Hendrickson.
All right, let's go to the Browns at number 6. This is where I've got Francis. Don't know how to say his last name. You know how to say his
Maui
last name?
Noah.
Who?
Maui Noah.
Maui Noah. Francis Maui Noah. Look, the Browns have a lot of problems, and I think the last thing the Browns need to do, one, they don't need to draft defense, right? We've seen the defense is what kept them in games last year. I think
Yep.
if anything, they need to run with whatever quarterback they're going to run with, whether that's Deshaun Watson, Shadur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, who knows? They can pick one out of the hat. I'm sure it'll probably still end up the same. They got to protect them. I think this is the best offensive lineman in the draft. Don't get cute if you're the Browns. I do see this maybe being a scenario. You know, the Browns did trade out last year, the number 2 pick. Maybe somebody could trade up with them here if they were looking to do something. But I think that for right now, I'm gonna stick with the Browns taking Francis
All
Hill.
right, so for me, this is my first trade in the draft. I still got Jeremiah Love on the board, and I think there's one team in particular that could really use some of that talent, and it's New Orleans. And I think they're going to trade up with Cleveland right here and go ahead and take him now that he's left on the board. And this is just basically from the draft being going quarterback, defensive end, tackle, defense, defense, defense. And now we're at Jeremiah Love. He's still available on the board. He's a better player than where I'm drafting him at. However, I just think the board's going to fall that way. But this is a great pickup for New Orleans, especially your immediate succession plan outside of Alvin Kamara. I think it makes too much sense.
Interesting.
Okay.
Didn't see that coming.
All right.
Welcome to the draft.
For the Browns, I got them just taking Carnell Tate. I'm sorry, dude, and your career might go is going to be off to a rough start in that organization. But the crazy thing is like if you were truly a Type Simpson like fan, he could honestly go here if like they really wanted to take him. But I think the organization wants to run with Shadira for some reason, so they're going to want to get a threat. Jerry Judy sucks, so they need receivers, and they'll take the first one off the board here with Carnell.
All right. Yeah, I've seen that bounce around too. See, feels like Carnell Tate to me will be definitely gone by that pick at number 6.
I mean, the Browns got 4 quarterbacks. I mean, one of them's got to be good, right?
Yeah, you'd hope. Todd Monken, national championship offensive coordinator. Here's a quick
Trade for Stetson.
Here's a quick stat for you. Georgia has 2 former offensive coordinators that are head coaches in the NFL. Todd Monken, who's the other one?
2 former coordinators?
Yeah, 2 former offensive coordinators that are head coaches in the NFL. Todd Monken and who else?
Head coaches. I mean,
That's incredible. Hold on. I mean, this is good. It can't be too hard right here, right? Brian Schottenheimer.
Brian Schottenheimer. Good
oh
job.
yeah, good one.
Brian Schottenheimer, 1 year. Mark Rick's last season. All right. Number 7, Washington Commanders. You know, this is where, look, I looked at a lot of mock drafts getting ready for this, trying to prepare myself, trying to, feel accurate, for when I put a graphic out or whenever with this draft's going on, trying to, get them right. This one, I feel like I went off from what a lot of people are saying. I've got the Commanders taking Sonny Styles, another defensive player out of Ohio State. One reason is Bobby Wagner is still a little undecided on the future. Plus, he's old. He may not be coming back to play football for the Commanders. 2, Dan Quinn, defensive guy. That defense was a liability last year and gave up a lot of points. The whole team just didn't go the right way. So I think they need to get some young stuff on that defensive line or defense. And I think this is a great pick. Like we've mentioned multiple times already, Ohio State linebacker and defensive line core is heavy right now. So I'm going to be going with Sonny Styles here. Caleb.
I got the same exact pick. I think Dan Quinn is going to lock in on a really good defensive player right here, get him another anchor in the middle of his defense. Sonny Styles is a badass now. And I think that if it's not him or Jacob Rodriguez right here, which I think he's getting slept on. I also think CJ Allen's getting slept on. We're going to talk about all that later, but just anchoring down Bobby Wagner's spot and maybe even giving Bobby Wagner chances to maybe come back, but don't play every down. Because, I mean, as of right now, he has to. There's nobody else that will make 170 tackles in a year for him. So I think that if he goes and gets something to support his scheme, the Commanders will at least be on track to get back to where they need to be.
All right, Ryan, what you got?
I got Sonny Styles as well. That's a clean sweep. This seems like a Dan Quinn kind of pick, a versatile linebacker. Like you said, Bobby Wagner is a million years old. Like they need linebacking depth, and he fits the mold here.
Yeah,
Definitely.
All right, number 8, the New Orleans Saints are on the board now. I've seen a lot of different things. Caleb obviously had the Saints trading up. So right now for what, Caleb, you're talking, who's picking for you right now at number 8? Caleb?
Cleveland.
The Brown? All right, let's just go you first. Who are the Browns taking at number 8?
Somebody took Carnell Tate at 6 earlier. I think they can get him at 8 right here. They trade back and get him right here. I think they saw the receiver position problem right there. You're talking about the stickiest hands since Drake London's came out. No joke. His catch radius, the numbers, the sheer numbers on expected catch over like whatever probability, insane clip what he's able to catch. Now, he's not a rat guy. I mean, he's not going to run away from you. He's a good route runner. He's not a Tyreek Hillish kind of player, but the NFL doesn't need to be so obsessed with that anymore. This is a really good football player. And hopefully one of those, whether it's Dylan Gabriel, Shadur Sanders, or Sean Watson, and somebody else there too, or someone there's got to be another quarterback around there somewhere. Somebody's going to be able to throw this guy the ball.
Yep. All right. I've got the Saints still. New Orleans Saints are on the clock. I got Reuben Bain Jr. coming off the clock here. I think Cameron Jordan, he's good. He's coming to the end of it. I think the Saints offensively have figured a lot of things out towards the end of the season with Kellen Moore, with Tyler Shuck. Kamara still, not too shabby for his age. Chris Olave, there's some things figured out. I think they need to get a little more anchored down on the defense, which has been a little bit of a problem over the latter part of the last 2 years. So I think Reuben Bain, who, I think maybe you go back before the combine, this could have been the number 2 guy off the board. This could have been number 3 guy off the board. A little small alligator hands seem to be stopping him a little bit, may have dropped the stock. But I think Reuben Bain Jr. is still an absolute stud. It looks like a 30-year-old man by himself anyway. I think he goes to New Orleans here. Ryan, what do you got?
I was trying to see if I was leaning the Saints taking a receiver here, but when I was looking at the board, somehow like Caleb Downs was still on the board, and I think he's just like a automatically like playmaker. He's going to be good, like gold jacket kind of guy. So I think the Aints will just take Caleb Downs as he's the best player in the draft. And if he wasn't a safety, I mean, he's probably a top 5 pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right.
That's why I had him in the top 5. I think he's that good.
At number 9, the Kansas City Chiefs. How about that? When's the last time they had a top 10 pick? Patrick Mahomes back in 2017 or whenever that was. 2017. Still got 2 names written down here. I've been going back and forth. I think there's a chance here for offense. There's a chance here for defense. Obviously, they made a big trade. They traded Trent McDuffie to the Rams this past season or this past offseason. They had some receiver problems. I'm going to go with my gut and say they're going to take a defensive back here. And they're going to take Mansour Delane. I may have said that name wrong. It was between him or Jordan Tyson for me. I think Jordan Tyson maybe doesn't fit the speedy mold of what the Chiefs are going to want. Like I could see Zachariah Branch going to the Chiefs in the second round or something like that. So I think with that, they're going to need to fill the corner spot that they just lost from Trent McDuffie. I think you guys talked about Caleb Downs still being out there. Looked at it, they really need no help at safety. With Justin Reed and the crew they have out there in Kansas City. So I think they go with the lane here at the corner of LSU and fill that corner spot as quick as they can. If they go Jordan Tyson here, I could see it, but it just doesn't seem like the wide receiver mold they usually go for. Caleb.
I don't mind that. However, I still got Reuben Bain on my board. He's pretty damn good. So I think they're going to go ahead and take him and put him next to, that guy named Chris. Why am I blanking on his last
Chris
name?
Jones?
Yeah.
There you go.
They're going to put Reuben Bain right next to Chris Jones. You're talking about immediate pass rush boost. I had 2 names written down for this pick as well. The first one was Reuben Bain. The second one was Monroe Freeling, a Georgia boy. I think he's a really, really good tackle. And if they're going to solve something on the offense, I thought it would be the front. But I got them taking the best available player, which is Reuben Bain.
All right, Ryan, who you got?
I think the Chiefs could go like 5 different positions right here. I mean, that roster is pretty terrible. But I'm with Caleb. I got them going Reuben Bain. Their sack numbers like completely fell off from those good defenses during their Super Bowl runs. They did not get after the quarterback. This immediately helps them there. But I meant to ask y'all this. I'm reading up a little bit. There's off the field issues with Bain. Is that true?
There was a report that came out about a old arrest a couple days ago. I know that. I don't think it's like that big of a deal from what I've seen. I can't even honestly remember on the top of my head what it was. I can't remember if it was a driving arrest or actually it may have been something or a car crash that somebody got seriously injured in or something. Because there's
he was standing on the sidewalk, dude. What are you talking about? He just standing on the sidewalk. Guy told him to move. Come on, what are you talking about?
You did talking
No,
about.
he definitely got into a car crash though, and I think he killed somebody or severely injured somebody.
Yeah, it was some Jalen Carter type stuff apparently.
But in his defense, though, the family of the person he killed came out and was like, first of all, we don't want to talk about this either. Leave the guy alone. We wish him the best, but don't come to the family themselves like, please leave us alone about it. So this is truly, I think, somebody just trying to make sure they get this guy to slide 9 or 10 so they can scoop him up. That's what I think the story was.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. And number 10, the New York Giants are back on the clock. Okay. And how about that? I've still got Caleb Downs on the board. And I think this is where Caleb Downs ends up because I think a lot of those linebackers from Ohio State and Miami and everywhere else are going to get scooped up. And Caleb Downs, I think the Giants can really win it here with getting the receiver from Ohio State, the defensive back from Ohio State. We know John Harbaugh likes to use a safety, like an all around safety like Kyle Hamilton, like he just had in Baltimore. He gets one here. In Caleb Downs, I agree, one of the better players, and I think somehow, some way, he'll get to New York at 10. Caleb.
Woo, man, if he makes it to 10, I probably give you like I got a $20 bill says he doesn't get to 10, but that would be insane if he does. He's so good. However, one of you guys had the Giants taking receiver earlier, right?
I had Giants taking Carnell Tate at 5.
Okay, so I got them me and you think on the same wavelength. So you went Tate Downs, I went Downs, Makai Lemon. And I'll tell you why I picked Makai Lemon in top 10. I think he is JSN waiting to happen if they put him in the slot. Do not line him up outside. He will not succeed. Don't do it. He's not an outside receiver. Put him in the slot. He's going to be a Pro Bowler in about 2 or 3 years because his releases and what he's able to do. I mean, he played for Lincoln Riley. So if you guys don't know what Lincoln Riley's offense for folks at home, it's air raid. There's a lot of route reading. He's converting, and he got the ball a lot at USC this year, which means he's a smart football player, can see things on the fly and be able to change, your route stem or whatever you need to. NFL offense is going to ask him to do the same thing, and if he's able to do that in the slot and block, because he's a pretty decent sized body, I think he's a hell of a player. I think he goes to 10. New York Giants get their other option away from Malik Neighbors.
All right. Ryan, finish us off here at number 10 for the Giants.
I got the G-Men taking a receiver too. I'm going to pair up Neighbors with Jordan Tyson. And, just a fast, athletic guy. The only downside is that I've seen that he's struggled with like a couple injuries. But I think with Neighbors, then Tyson, and you get Scatabo back with Harbaugh.
It's pretty good offense.
Yeah, that'd be a fun offense to watch, and maybe the G-Men are tracking up.
Yeah. All right. That's a top 10 mock draft. We'll see who has the most accurate one when we get to Thursday night. Should be a fun one. It's always a good spectacle. Did you guys also hear that they've sped up the clock for this year? We're going from 10 minutes to 8 minutes.
What are they doing? More commercials? What's going on?
No, I mean, I think from what I read, Roger Goodell just said it's getting a little too late.
Yeah, I mean, the first round don't end until it's like 11:45 or something. The last pick sent in.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. We'll get there on Thursday night. So we've talked about the top 10, but you guys had some trades in there. Let me ask you guys this. We've talked about a lot of different positions, wide receivers, one quarterback to start, the receiver. Which position do you have getting the most pick? Let's go from now, think 11 to 32. Which position, Ryan, do you think will get drafted the most in the first round?
I was between two, but I think I'm leaning it's going to be edge. Edge rushers are going to get picked the most. But I was between that or tackles. That's what it always seems like. But with a draft this year, it seems like there's a lot of good, decent edge rushers that can go in the first round.
All right. Caleb, what do you got?
So I was between two as well, but it was not edge rushers. I did a mock, a full one, a multiple, and usually came out with 5 edge players, but I came out with 6 of 2 other positions, tackle and wide receiver. I think there's going to be 6 wideouts taken in the first. You're going to see a run on right there at the end. I think obviously we talked about Tate and Makai Lemon already getting taken. I think there's no way Jordan Tyson survives the first round. I think Denzel Boston's a really good receiver. I think he's probably better than Omar Cooper. I'm going to get on that a little bit later. I think Casey Concepcion has got to be 30, 31, 32. I mean, Omar is probably end of the first round kind of got to. So I got 6 receivers going.
All right. I was, thinking quarterback. No, I'm just kidding. I was not thinking quarterback, but it was either tackle or linebacker for me. I think just because we talked about all the multiple ones in the first round. I think I'm going to go with tackle though, because I think on the end of it, you guys like DeMonroe Freeling, the guy out of Utah that Ryan said I'm blanking on his name because I didn't write it down. I think we'll get an edge. Spencer Fanu.
No.
We're going to get on a run of it. It seems like every year you get a run on offensive linemen towards those 20 to 30 in the draft. Wide receiver would be interesting, though, because I think after Tate, Tyson, Lemon, I wasn't even thinking much of it, but that would be interesting if we got a run on receivers. If we even got more than, do you guys think we're going to get a Ty Simpson pick on the first night?
I don't.
I think he falls at like. I mean, I know we're not at that part, but he was going to be my pick to be like the Shadir. I'm just not sold on Ty Simpson, man. I think if he was going to go in the first round, I could see like the Cardinals like trade him back, or like the Cardinals somewhere in the first round taking him, in the back end of the first round.
I'm a
Alright.
huge fan of Ty personally. Like, I'm not necessarily on board with Orlovsky because Ty don't have the intangible stuff that Mendoza does, clearly. I think Ty is just as talented, very close to, but he's only had, like, what, 13 or 14 starts as a starter. So, if he goes, he needs to be somewhere that he can wait and sit for a year, maybe 2. So, yeah, I think he goes day 2.
All right. Interesting. Okay. Got to shout out Caden Proctor, too, one of the offensive tackles that I think will be going first round after that was
Mhm.
somebody else had written down. Okay. So, sleepers. Let's talk about this. Give me one, maybe two if you got it, but give me one person, Caleb, who maybe no one's talking about that may sneak into the first round. Maybe doesn't have to be, the top 15 pick that comes out of nowhere, but, the 25th pick, 26th pick that not a lot of people are giving a lot of first round grade to. Maybe he's one of those guys that are not one of the 18, 19 people that are being talked about. Who do you think makes a splash on draft night 1?
Well, looking at my list, none of these guys I think will get drafted in the first round except for one. I talked about him earlier. CJ Allen is a first round draft pick. He's a talent now. I mean, the guy is 255 and he ran a 440 the other day. And he just had knee surgery, I don't know, 8 months ago, 6 months ago, whatever it was. I can't believe that he's not mocked higher than what he is. And I know everybody's usually got him like back or first bit of the second round. I really think if the Cowboys are at 20, they're going to take him. And in fact, got a little close to the sun on a sourcing today. This guy that is tight with him, I mean, he's going to his draft party on Thursday and everything. Said that the Cowboys like him. Like they've asked for a bunch of things, visits, Zoom calls, this and that. The Tampa Bay Bucks are also hot on that trail as well. He also got a meeting with the New England Patriots. So, I find it hard if he's there if the Cowboys stay at 20, which we're gonna talk about trades here in a second, we'll see. If they're at 20, that's got it written all over. I think it's Rodriguez or him, and I had a bunch of sleepers, but I for sure think CJ Allen is a first round pick.
All right. Ryan, give me a sleeper for this year's 2026 NFL draft.
So I could see Denzel Boston from Washington making a little bit of noise, especially in the late first round from teams like the Bills or the Niners that need receiver help. More of a big, like physical receiver. And I think, especially for the Bills, for a team that just traded DJ Moore, and I don't know how much more you can trust Kevin Coleman. They need a guy with Boston's size to help Josh Allen maybe actually like make it to the Super Bowl for once.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ryan. I said earlier, I think Denzel Boston's a first round pick as well. I wouldn't be shocked if Jordan Tyson's medicals are as bad as what some are murmuring out there. Denzel could be the third receiver taken off the board on Thursday.
That'd be something. All
So
right.
he's a huge athlete too. I mean, he's every bit of 6'4", 215, 225.
All right. My sleeper, I've kind of got two here, both at the corner spot. I went with Avion Terrell, PJ's younger brother at Clemson. I kind of hyped him up a lot last year in like the situations where we were talking about Clemson early in the season. Just under 4.4 on the 40, 34 on the vert, 17 bench press, not the most studly combine, but I mean, the game tape is incredible. And I see a lot of things late first. I think he could jump up into that 15-20 range if somebody's willing to bite. I think also somebody that's kind of been mocked late second, D'Angelo Pons, the corner out of Indiana. He did pretty well at the combine as well. And I think just the plays he made in the playoffs, he's a playmaker. And I think some team out there is going to need a corner. And I think D'Angelo Pons is that guy for a lot of reasons, just because you saw him make him in the biggest moments. He's been coached by some of the best in college football. I don't know how many this is going to have to be the biggest Indiana draft class of all time, you would think this year, right?
For sure. For sure.
All right. And then to finish off right here, who falls? Who is the Shadur Sanders this year in the NFL draft, Ryan?
Like I said before, I think Ty Simpson's not going first round. I think he'll fall, and fall into the second round. I don't think it would be like as extreme as Shadur because I don't know if we'll like ever see that where Shadur was like mocked to be what was it like top 5 pick at least top 10 and just fall all the way to day 3. I doubt we will see that kind of drop again, but for a guy with like being the second ranked quarterback in this class, I think he falls to the second round at the very least, and that means only one quarterback taken in the first round.
All right, Caleb, who do you have?
Well, on the quarterback train, I literally wrote down under my slide section here, I said everybody but Ty Simpson. Ty probably won't get picked in the first round. I think he's an early second guy. He'll probably look for maybe somebody trade up day 2 after they've seen the board settle on where they're at. I don't think there's a quarterback that gets picked in within pick 100 after that. Legitimately. I mean, there's not going to be another person. Kay Klubnik, who is it? I don't even have a name for you as who would be the third quarterback taken. But outside of quarterbacks, I think that Omar Cooper could slide, and it's for the same reason we were just talking about everything with Denzel Boston being awesome. I think Casey Concepcion's a first-round pick. He's got some electricity to him as well. I also think Jeremy Bernard is a little bit underrated in my mind. He's a guy that come out of Alabama, was a hell of a playmaker, was known as the team leader there. Mr. Do It All. I mean, the guy ran the football, threw it. I think he's an incredible player, and I think there's a chance that he gets drafted over Omar Cooper if he ends up sliding to day 2. And the other one I will mention, you said something about Caden Proctor getting picked. If Caden Proctor is in camp and meetings with people, talking to them and saying, I'm playing tackle in the NFL and I'm not going to play guard, I don't know if he goes day 1. His tackle tape is terrible, absolutely terrible. Now, he could play guard. And in my mock, I had him playing guard for the Los Angeles Chargers next year. But I mean, if he says, sometimes these players will get in these meeting rooms and tell these teams like, hey, I'm going to do this. This is how it's going to be, or da 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 da. And then you dictate some things, and that's how the board shakes out and settles. If he wants to play tackle, I don't think he's a first round pick.
What if he wants to play running back?
He can play fullback. I'd be all about it if he played fullback.
He's got some good tape with the ball in his hands.
He does. He does. Can't believe we didn't hit the touchdown bet last year when we said we were going to. Still salty about that one.
All right. I got Jermod McCoy staying on the corner train, the Tennessee corner. Look, and this is solely just because he didn't play at all last year. All right. And it felt like every week, or at least early in the season, it was like, Tennessee's out their top 2 corners, but one, they've been out. He's been out of there all year. And he's got really good tape, and you could compare it to, you compare other guys that didn't play the year before. But in a situation like this, where it's a serious injury, you come off, it's been 2 years since anybody's seen you play. We saw a guy like Will Johnson last year out of Michigan who didn't even really. He played the prior year, but was kind of out the last couple months. Get in that situation where he fell. I could see the same thing here. So there's the mocks. There's who we got moving up, moving down, everything in between for the 2026 NFL Draft. Before we get out of here and wrap up the pre-draft episode, got a little game. All right, been wanting to try this thing out for a little bit. So the game is this or that. All right, you've each got a subject that I planned for you. The concept is I'm going to give you a subject. I'm going to give you 2 names. All right, you're just going to pick whoever you like the best out of it. All right, and then I'm going to give you another. Whoever wins is going to go up against the next name. And you're just going to keep picking a name until we get to the end and you have a winner. All right, simple enough. Ryan, I'm going to start with you. All right, and your subject is going to be first round NFL wide receivers since 2020. Now, not every NFL wide receiver since 2020 is on this list. A good majority of them are, but not every single one of them. All right. So, like Kadarius Toney, not on the list. All right. Didn't make the list, but a lot of them did. All right. Here we go. Jerry Jeudy or Devontae Smith?
Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith or Xavier Worthy?
Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith or Chris Olave?
Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith, Garrett Wilson?
Devontae Smith. Production's not there for Wilson. Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith, Marvin Harrison?
Devontae Smith. Marvin Harrison drops balls left and right, man.
Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle?
Devontae Smith.
Good run here for Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith, Jackson Smith, Njigba?
JSN.
JSN, Tet McMillan?
JSN.
JSN, Roma Dunze?
JSN.
JSN, Drake London?
I mean, like, if I'm just speaking like non-fan bias here, I mean, JSN's last year was like so incredible. Like, didn't he just get paid like highest receiver money too?
Yeah, he did.
And Drake's still like on his rookie contract. pains me to say it, but JSN.
JSN, Emeka Ibuka.
JSN.
JSN, Jameson Williams.
JSN.
JSN, Brian Thomas Jr.
JSN.
JSN, Malik Neighbors.
Ooh, I'm still rocking with JSN.
JSN, Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah, JSN.
Oh, that was way too fast.
JSN, CD Lamb.
Ooh, I'm a CD guy, man. I'll take CD.
All right. CD Lamb, Travis Hunter.
CD.
CD
That dude don't
Lamb.
play receiver. Come on.
Oh, dude.
The corner.
He counts. He counts. CD Lamb, Zay Flowers.
A CD.
CD Lamb, Xavier Leggett.
A CD.
CD Lamb, Jamar Chase.
Oh, Jamar.
Jamar Chase, Rashad Bateman.
Jamar.
Jamar Chase, Jordan Addison.
Jamar.
Man, I
Jamar
forgot that
Chase.
That was a first rounder.
Jamar
Crazy.
Chase, Jalen Rager.
That's it. That's bad. Jamar. I forgot about Rager. Oh, man.
He was a first rounder.
Yep. And before this guy that's next, Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson.
Ooh. Dude, screw it. Give me Jamar over JJ. I'll do.
Jamar Chase wins this or that for NFL.
You know
wide
what's
receiver.
crazy about Rager and Devontae going on that big run? I'm pretty sure Jalen Rager was drafted before Devontae.
He was drafted before. He was drafted to pick before Justin Jefferson.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
insane.
That's why I
man.
picked. That's why I put him right before Justin Jefferson.
Which is
That's
crazy.
Oh man! All right, Caleb, you're up.
We got
Subject.
kicker.
Your subject: NFL quarterbacks in the first round since 2015. Again, not all of them are on here. Paxton Lynch did not make the cut. You know, there's a couple others. Here we go. Jameis Winston and Sam Darnold, or Sam Darnold.
Jameis, just for the vibes, and pick the guy that just beat my team in the Super Bowl. Come on, next.
Jameis Winston or Trevor Lawrence.
Now you're making me pick the guy that ended my high school career. Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence or Jared Goff.
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence or Jackson Dart.
Dart.
Oh.
Jackson Dart or Drake May.
Drake.
Drake May or Marcus Mariota.
Drake.
Ooh.
Drake May or Justin Fields.
Drake. Unless
Drake.
he's on the punt team. If Justin Fields on the punt team, then he's over.
Drake May or JJ McCarthy.
Drake. Close one though.
Drake May or Kyler Murray.
Drake.
Drake May or Daniel Jones.
Drake.
Drake May or Lamar Jackson.
Lamar.
Lamar Jackson or Caleb Williams.
Lamar.
Lamar Jackson or Baker Mayfield.
Lamar.
Lamar Jackson or Anthony Richardson.
Lamar. The original Lamar.
Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, well. Is Taylor Swift at the game?
Yes.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson or Bo Nix.
Lamar Jackson. Bo Nix could have he would be no for everybody. You could put Paxton Lynch up, and I would take him over Bo Nix.
Lamar
That's
Jackson.
crazy.
Lamar Jackson or Cam Ward.
Lamar.
Lamar Jackson or Justin Herbert.
Lamar.
Lamar Jackson or Mac Jones.
That gritty was clean, but still Lamar.
Lamar Jackson or Tua.
Lamar. Sorry, Falcons.
Lamar Jackson or Jordan Love.
Lamar.
Lamar Jackson or Jaden Daniels.
Lamar.
Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen.
Lamar.
Lamar Jackson or CJ Stroud.
Lamar.
Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow.
Joey B.
Joe Burrow. Wow, both of them on. All right, Justin Jefferson didn't win on the end, but Joe Burrow wins on the end right there for this or that quarterback first round. How about that? Ryan, how did you feel about his quarterbacks there? Do you think you would have ended up the same way?
Probably something similar. I think I would have ended up with Josh Allen as my number one.
What about you, Caleb? Do you think you would have stayed with Jamar on the receivers?
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, I think it's just blaming on 9 that we're taking Jamar over Jay Jettas, but
Oh, man. All right. Well, that will wrap up our pre-NFL draft episode. Planning on doing another one when the draft is over. Appreciate my guys, Caleb and Ryan, for getting on here. Again, follow Deep Shot Sports on Instagram and TikTok. Subscribe to the YouTube. We will be back when the draft is over to recap it all. Also, subscribe on podcasts and Spotify. For Ryan and for Caleb, I'm Gary. Deep Shot out.
Peace.